Hello, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Andrew.
Daniel.
Do you see the clock over there? Do you see what time it is?
Oh.
It's time for another rank off.
Time for the Great British Rank Off.
Go on, intro.
Well, welcome to another Rank Off.
Oh, that's
What?
disgusting, Andrew. But yeah, welcome.
Yeah. What are we doing today, Daniel?
We're going to one of our favourite games.
We are. Best.
What? The best game of all
Time. Ah. It's...
No one's done that joke before.
Yeah, so today
Chrono
we're going to be... Yeah. We're going to be looking at Chrono Trigger.
We are indeed.
And
not just Chrono Trigger.
not just...
Well, yeah, just Chrono Trigger.
But
More
not
specifically.
Chrono Trigger as a whole. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, don't be stupid. We're doing eras, the time periods.
The time periods of Chrono Trigger.
There isn't many. There's 7.
The 7, so this should be like a nice short rank off, but it'll still
It
be
should
at least 2 hours.
We'll do an hour for each era, just to knock it up to 7.
So,
Let's
looking
go
at
through.
yeah, go on.
Sorry, we're doing it remotely again, so the syncing up's going to be as tricky as you noticed. Yeah, we'll go through the ranks. Is it the ranks?
Yes, the tiers.
Tiers, that's it. So, at the top, what have we got, Andrew?
We've got Luminaire tier, which is Chrono's last ability, where he like does a little dome of lightning.
He does. He does a little fun storm out of his panty poo pots.
And we thought, you know what, that's kind of like Ultima.
Yeah, that's not fun. Sure. That's Ramu's Ultima.
Then we've got what, Daniel?
We've got the Epoch. Whizzing along there.
Whizzing through time.
Yeah, sometimes it gets hard. It's like it's easy to come up with a name for like the top tier and the bottom tier, but then the ones in between get harder to figure out what you want to call it. And then below Epoch, we've got Millennial Fair, which is a good actual medium name.
Yeah,
That's Millennial Fair, Andrew.
Yeah, it's very Millennial Fair.
That's very middle of the ground of you.
Then we have the future refused to change because Lavos was just like, oh, gonna make sure you're dead.
He waggled his finger like, his little claw. And then finally, we have New Way.
New Way.
As in the news. Those guys.
Those classic guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, let's crack on.
Let's get on with it. So, first up, we have 1000 AD. I'm assuming.
Yes. Present, in-game present.
The in-game present.
Yes.
Chrono Trigger presents 1000 AD.
So Andrew will have a more clearer remembrance of.
Yes, because I've literally just finished Let's Play on it.
Time recording is like a week ago. He uploaded his final Chrono Trigger.
Yes.
Episode of his Let's Play. So.
And
Andrew,
you know what, Daniel?
Leading me through this. Go on.
I think it didn't Chrono Trigger start in like 2019.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
I think it was around Christmas of 2019.
A lot of Andrew's series is either ongoing or wrapping up. Started a long time ago.
Yeah, it's because I took
Platinum.
a break.
But also Platinum.
Yeah, but we don't talk about Platinum.
We talk about it constantly.
Yeah, we do actually. We don't shut up about it.
At time recording, it's still ongoing.
It's still ongoing after like 5 years.
We had numerous breaks.
Yes.
But it's getting there. We've finished it now. It'll be up.
At time of recording, I worked it out that we have 5 weeks of Platinum left, and we're up 3 episodes a week. So, back to what we're actually here to talk about.
The present day in the world of Chrono Trigger.
What do you think of it, Daniel?
Now, my only memories of it, and not my only memories of it, but the ones that first come to mind is like it's the introduction to the game, because it's like, you know, it's millennial. It's the millennial fair. Is it like the 1000? Is it like the new year? Is it like the 1000 AD? Like, oh, it's 1000.
No,
AD
it's
now?
to do with the bell.
Is it the bell? See, my memory is really vague.
I think it's to do with the bell. It's the
bell
fair, the millennial fair, to do with like. It could be that it is the 1000 years.
It's called millennial, so I thought, oh, is that because it's a new millennia?
Maybe. It's the first millennia.
Yeah.
Or the second. The start of the second millennia.
But yeah, it's the opening of the game. It's sort of still a bit medieval-y, but it's like there's technology about.
Yeah, because of Luca, mainly, and her dad, Taban.
Something like that.
Tabitha, yeah. I think it's a nice sort of intro to the game. I don't remember there being a lot there.
I was going to say, like, what else do you do in 1080? Is it literally just the intro? Is there nothing else to do in it?
Yeah, you do go back, because you go back and Melchior's there. Okay.
It's mainly to go back to sort of trigger other events, isn't it?
Yes. You end up back there a few times. I think, don't you end up in, what's it called? Medea, which is where all the fiends are.
Yeah.
And they're all like dancing around a mega statue.
Yeah, because he's won or something.
Yeah, because there's quite a few events there, but I think honestly it is. I don't know where I'd put it.
In terms, because like you gotta think like.
In terms
design
of
wise, the feel it gives you, what there is to do there. Like you can't really. I don't think you can really sort of rate it high based on sort of like level design, because I don't know if it doesn't really have many dungeons or like areas of interest. It's mainly just the town, isn't it?
Yeah, it has the castle.
It's the castle.
And then there's like the forest.
It's mainly sort of a cut and paste of the next one, I think.
Yeah.
Which is more to do in.
There's still quite a lot to do in it. Obviously, it's got a lot of mini games and stuff you can do, and there's a few things you can do there. Like you go back and you get the Chrono doll.
Yeah, which is integral to the plot.
Yes. Because the thing with Chrono Trigger though is that you don't have to do like 90% of the game.
Yeah, it's true.
Like 90% of the game is optional. Like up until I think it's like once you get Robo, that's like the game. The rest of it's just optional. It's just like okay. So, I'd say I'd put it probably Millennial Fair because it is the
it's
titular.
Sort of the base. It's the titular Millennial Fair. It's sort of like it's the base. It's like the home base sort of thing.
Yeah.
At that point, if like all over time periods.
Yeah, because obviously at that point you don't know about the time travel point of it once you start, and then once that starts kicking into it, I think because it is just present day to them and stuff, it just feels very sort of just neutral compared to all the others. Like the others have a lot more going on. Yeah,
it's sort of like this is the world that the other time periods are based on, sort of like before and after it, sort of thing. So
like there's no
build on that after.
We'll get into it a bit more, but there's no war or anything. It's just that everything's sort of peaceful. Even though the fiends are like, oh, Lord Magus, yay! They're not like trying to attack you.
Yay!
Yay! They're not trying to like murder you or anything. They're not coming to like attack Guardia or anything.
Yeah. Alright then, I think Millennial Fair is Millennial Fair. I'm fitting. So then,
next
go back 400 years.
400 years. 400. Yeah, it is 600 AD.
So we go back to sort of the medieval time.
We do. And that's when
Magus was the villain.
Magus was the villain. We meet Frog for the first time. Like, Marl ends up back in time. And because she goes back in time and she gets rescued, like, her whole being is ripped apart.
Yeah. Which is, fun.
Which is fun and not depressing at all.
Something to do.
It's something to tell your kids about in the future, isn't it?
oh yeah, you got a T-shirt for it. So I got my entire being ripped because I travelled 400 years.
Because I messed with time.
Because I met my past self or whatever.
Yeah, she got rescued, and they thought she was her was the past queen. So then the queen never got rescued, and she got murdered.
Classic.
Technically, so then she was just like, oh, my insides are on my outsides.
Oh, I've got a bad tummy ache.
I like 600 AD.
Yes.
Because there's just so much going on in it.
Like on the world map, it's all got like a foggy haze over it.
Yeah, that's all the stank.
It's all
because it was 600 AD. It was very mouldy.
It's a pool stinky.
There's a lot of people who didn't shower in that time.
Yeah, that's just everyone who can't wash. That's just bad hygiene.
But like once you get there, it's obviously the first time period you go to outside of 1000 AD, and you go there and just all these things are happening. You're like Marl, like we said, gets ripped out of time, and then you meet Frog, and he's there to try and help, and you're just like, what? There's like, why is there a talking frog helping me?
I know, yeah. What sort of?
And then you go into like a church, and all the nuns are fiends.
Yes, I remember that because the Minoria Cathedral or something.
Yeah.
The music's really good. And
then you go back again. I just remembered something about 1000 AD, but we'll talk about it after.
We'll get to that.
There's what do you call it? There's the whole story point with Magus, and like you learning about Lavos through Magus, and because you'd learned about Lavos before, but then it's like, oh snap, he's not actually the one who summoned Lavos. He was doing it for something else, and then later on we'll get into why. And it's just like, it's really all these trippy things start happening around 600 AD.
Yeah.
And the one thing I was going to mention was there was the desert underneath, the desert dungeon, and you leave Robo there. And then in 1000 AD, you go back to him, and they've built a church, and Robo's in the church.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few things like that, like the person you give like a sapling to and into forest there, like and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, you have to do something really specific in another time period to then trigger that event, to then do that. And then there's like the guy in 1000 AD as well who... It's just all like these little trippy things that like affect time in some way. But it's still like the middle ground for Millennial Fair. He steals something, and then you have to do something back in time, and he goes, oh, I'm going to make sure my kids are really nice. And then he's just like really generous. But you have to do something in 600 AD to trigger that.
Yeah, to make it happen.
Yeah, but I just really like 600 AD as a time period. It gives you that, obviously it gives you that fantasy feel, but it's still very similar to 1000 AD.
I was going to say, which era was the Dragon Tank in?
That was 1000 AD.
1000 AD, I was going to say.
Because then you run off from it afterwards, because Chrono's in prison.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think that's gonna, that bit really starts sort of like opening up like the possibilities of what's going to happen in the game. So I think it belongs in the Epoch team.
Epoch?
Yeah.
Epochrical.
I think
what other dungeons are in it? What other like areas and stuff?
There was Ozzy's house.
That was a dungeon in itself.
Magus's keep.
Yeah, Magus's keep was the big one. Because at that point he was like the main villain. You discover, and then obviously you find out he's not later.
And you're like, I
think Epoch's a good place for it.
Yes.
The smell drags it down from being the best.
I think there's just like, because it is the first one you go to and it still looks very similar to 1000 AD. It just, I think that just keeps it away from being a Luminaire tier.
Yeah, being quite unique.
Yeah.
The lack of uniqueness.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Epoch.
But story-wise and everything that happens then, it's got Frog in it, who's like one of the best characters. So.
Oh yeah, Frog.
Frog's the right babe. Glenn. Yes. Oh, and then you learn about that. There's that as well. There's like the dungeon where you go up the
Masamune.
Yeah, and that little kid's there, and he like robbed it from Frog or something, or Frog gave him the medallion, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's the hero." And it was just like some little kid.
Was it Toma or whatever he's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. Because then he's got ancestors like Toma the 15th or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Epoch.
Yes.
In it goes.
And it goes.
And then I couldn't remember which order it was.
After that, it's Future.
Was it the Future? Okay, let's swap them around then. Let's put the Future one above it.
Yeah.
It's a bit confusing because the little icon I got has got the Black Omen in it.
Oh yeah.
It's because it had the Future thing in there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just take that. We know what it means. So the Future then.
The Future. This is 2300 AD.
This is the Future refused to change, but not
yeah.
the rank.
This is the reason why we're like, oh well, the Future refused to change.
Yeah.
Because
this is what happens when Lavos appeared and you basically destroyed the world.
Had a little tinkle in 1999.
Into the sky.
This is like 301 years after Lavos. And because of this, like all the robots have gone evil.
Yes.
They're corrupted during that time period.
Yeah, because they had like a mother brain thing.
Yeah.
Just started going mental.
The only one who was... Well, we don't even know. Robo could have ended up being one of those, but then Luca fixed him, so...
Yeah, she had a little twiddle.
She was like, oh, I'm going to screw your brain in.
Luca, stop it.
And then it turned out that Luca was like... I think the way they insinuated it in the ending was that Luca made a prototype Robo so that then future generations could have Robo. I don't think she, like, originally before the time started changing, so I don't think she was the original creator.
No.
But I think she just wanted to make sure that Robo existed in the future.
Yeah. Well, she just wanted a friend.
Yeah.
Just wanted a Robo back.
But this is where we learn of Lavos for the first time. And you don't even realise that it's the future. You're just like, oh, what the hell? Where are we? What sort of like place is this? Yeah. And all the it's really depressing.
It's a funny order of doing it because it technically this in normal RPGs this would be like sort of the end of the game.
Yeah, this would be like, oh, you've gone to the future.
The baddies won basically.
Yeah. No Final Fantasy
VIII.
This
is like, yeah, this is only like the third place you go to.
Yeah.
It's very different from the other two because it's obviously like thousands of years later.
It's years later. Yeah, and there's just like this. Mutants and everything, people that are really dishevelled. Like there's a plant there.
There's only a handful of people left.
Yeah, they're in.
Basically, they built domes. And a lot of them had broken down and been taken over by robots and stuff.
Yeah, and all like the food preparations and stuff are just like they malfunctioned, and they were using these machines.
They have the Enetron or whatever it's called, and it's like your HP is fully restored, but you're still hungry.
Yeah, and it's like
oh no!
And then you find like a seed, and they plant the seed as a sign of hope. But then, like the from at least at that point of view, the Guardia line is still going.
Yeah.
Because that guy at the end's like the old man is Mal's ancestor.
Yeah. Little scrawny people.
Yeah. And you're just like,
You're just saying, coming from the past, like eating a Mars bar. It's like, oh, look at you guys. You look a right steak.
I know, you could go from the past and take some food to the future, but no.
I know. No,
selfish.
Can't possibly fit it on board the spaceship.
So yeah, there's like 4 domes or something, but then there's like a few dungeons. There's like Lavos's, was it Death Peak or whatever it's called?
Yeah, Death Peak, Death Mountain or whatever it's called.
Mountain. Stay away from Death Mountain. And there's all those like baby Lavos on it, and you have to take the chrono trigger there.
Reproduce it.
Or the time egg.
It's like really for learning because like there's all these mini Lavos. It's like, is it going to just send all these off to other planets?
Yeah.
Just keep spreading. Like which version of Lavos is this that lands on Earth or whatever it's called? Because there've been like hundreds of others.
Yeah.
It sort of hints at like how widespread he is and stuff.
Yeah, because he's been under there for a very long time. And then you've
others.
And then you have like the sewers, and then you've got the different domes, and there's the factory dome where all the robots are being built.
Yeah, and also it has a very unique minigame with the race against Robbie and his robot bike.
Yes. Yes.
Which is like the only time you see that sort of minigame in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Really interesting. Fun fact, the music for that was one of the few tracks on the game done by Nobuo Uematsu, I think.
Oh, was it?
Or finished by, because the soundtrack was done by Yasunori Mitsuda, who like was his first time doing a soundtrack.
Yeah.
And he worked on it that hard, he got like stomach ulcers.
Oh, really?
So Uematsu had to like step in and help him finish some tracks on it.
The 2300 was his a representation of his stomachals.
Yeah, that's just like he's got levels in this tummy. But yeah, so it had that. I had the mini game, which was really cool.
Yeah, and then it had the whole plot of bringing Chrono back.
Yeah.
You had to go there, and then you had to wait for the sun to hit its like peak or something.
Yeah, the weird because even the sky's eclipsed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
There's just destruction everywhere. There's only a few civilizations, and they're all in the domes. Because all the domes, you see them in 1999.
Yeah,
and they're all they're basically like bustling cities, but within each dome.
It's sort of futuristic before the destruction sort of thing.
Yeah, and then you just they just get wiped out, basically.
It's true.
And then there's a few, and then you go in and you find out that Lavos is the reason. You're like, oh well, where did Lavos come from?
It came from the bottom of.
Came from the Earth's core.
Yeah, journey to the center of
the Earth. But then, when you see that, it says they mention Magus there. I think. Or it's Robo's the first mention of Lavos is 600 AD, which then ties it back to that, and you go then Frog's there.
Yeah.
But all these other things happen in between.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel.
Yes.
What do you think?
I don't know. I was literally thinking that while we were trying to wrap the last points. I don't know where to put it.
I'd put it in Luminaire.
I was gonna say between that and Epop because there's a lot to do in it.
Yeah. There's a lot of story development.
Visually, it really captures the fact that the world's ended very well.
Yeah.
I think I'm happy putting in Luminaire.
Yeah. Oh no, I just picked up the wrong one.
Oh no. Yeah, I've swapped them two around.
I swapped them around, but I was still somehow on the other one. I think it deserves to be there.
I think so, yeah.
Just because there's
a lot to do.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. It's just vastly different.
Mood.
It's vastly different from what we've seen so far.
There's a lot very heavy with the plot sort of revelations and stuff. Yeah. Luminaire for now.
Yes.
Top tier.
Yes, top tier time period.
Goes in front of it.
Death and destruction. I think once you do that, you end up in the end of time. And then after that, you can go back to 600 AD, or you can go to 1000 AD, or you can go to this next one.
Yes. We'll do it at the end of time, like last, because it's the end of time. You get it, Andrew?
Yeah. So now we're at 68 million BC.
6,000 pixels.
I think it's 68 million BC. It's either 68 million or a billion. I think it's million though.
One of those with too many zeros.
Yes. Now there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here.
Andrew, there's always a lot to unpack. But go on.
Because you go there and you just think, oh well, we've just ended up in prehistoric times, but there's just a massive war going on and everything.
Yes. So in the Chrono Trigger or the Chrono planet, whatever.
Yeah.
There's there was another species as well as humans that evolved.
Yeah, the reptites.
Reptites. So at this point in time, they're sort of warring for supremacy.
Yes, it's between the apes and the reptiles, basically.
Yeah. From chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
And then it's the leader of the apes is Isla, who ends up being a character. And
you say apes, but you know.
Yeah, that's what they call them, though. They get called the apes.
Time to go ape poo.
And then Azala is the leader of the reptiles. And it's before... Ever since you get there, there's just always this looming feeling in the sky sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the second time you go there, but you go there and you start sort of Isla welcomes you into the clan sort of thing. And then her little lad, the one that she forces into a relationship.
Yes.
Kino,
yeah.
Gets jealous. And then he gets captured. Something happens, and the what do you call it? The time one gets taken by Azala, and you have to go and get it back.
Yeah. That's it.
But then you come back later on, and there's like a big, like the meteor is in the sky.
Yes.
And then it turns out that is Lavos coming down.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the era that Lavos arrives.
And it's like, that is, Lab means big, and then Vos means fire. So that's why it's named Lavos.
Yeah. Big fire.
Big fire. And so you end up then, like, that's like a really big sort of point, because you don't know at that point that Lavos is an alien.
Yeah.
You just think that Magus has summoned him.
Yeah, just some sort of massive monster, magical being or something. But no, he's extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial that came down 65 million BC, and then he's been in the, and then he burrows straight underground, and he's been there, and then comes out in 1999. So he's there for a really long time, just like absorbing energy throughout time.
Yeah, he's basically he absorbs sort of like different energy from different time periods to become like to build up his power, basically. So he's probably tiny at that point. He's probably a little Lavos.
Yeah, and then he comes out and he's like,
oh, guess what, guys? Look what I can do.
But he gets woken up a few times throughout history because of people doing certain things, and he can wake up at any point, and he's very angry. But his official awakening is 1999.
His official entrance.
And then there's a couple of there's not many dungeons in this.
No.
Because obviously it's like the world's still forming sort of thing. There's lava everywhere. You can fly around on pterodactyls.
That is cool. I did like that. You fly around on pterodactyls. I was going to say the main dungeon I'm thinking of. I think is it the only dungeon? Tyranno Lair, the main HQ of the Reptites.
No, there's a few.
Oh,
there's the one where you can get all the, because there's no currency back then, so you have to collect trading goods. So there's that little mini one at the top, and then there's that forest, and then I think it's the Tyranno Lair, and then it's like the Reptite Keep. Or if that's the Tyranno Lair, I can't remember.
I think that's where the Reptiles are. Tyranno Lair.
There's
because it's like quite their lairs looks like mechanical.
Yeah, it's all like trippy.
Yeah. So they seem a bit more advanced.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing is, doesn't like Lavos wipe out a lot of the Reptiles?
Yeah, Lavos wipes out the Reptiles completely, I think.
Yeah. Well, it is like a few survivors, isn't it? Like, I think that's what the bonus thing is.
The bonus thing is like they're from a different time period.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a time period where the Reptites didn't die.
So I thought a few survived, and it's like hinted at in Cross that like.
Oh, they might have.
But I'm not sure. I'm not fully like.
Who knows? Because Chrono Cross.
You have to read a full-on book on that just to figure out what the story is.
And then, like in the DS version of this, they did add a lot of it, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense in Cross now. Like 20 years later.
That's why we're adding that. Give us clarification. Yeah, the old RPGs you have to work out for yourself, and it's like really confusing for them.
But because Lavos comes down and does that, I think that's when it's sort of like quite a while later.
If he didn't wipe out the Reptiles, if he didn't wipe out the Reptiles completely, he basically made them the less superior species, and the humans overtaught them.
And then because of something, which we'll get into again later, it causes something to happen.
Yes. Yeah, because I think that was it. Because I think in Cross there's a thing where you can twist things where like the like surviving Reptite will like start getting its revenge or something, and you can sort of lead to that future.
Oh yeah,
one of the endings or something.
Yeah,
something like that. But yes.
But outside of that, there's not a lot of areas. There's a few dungeons and stuff, but there's not a lot of areas to explore properly.
It's quite sparse. I'd say like visually, it's very. It captures. It's pretty much like volcanic, isn't it? The whole area.
There's a few dungeons and stuff and a few areas to explore and stuff, but in comparison to the other places, there's like no towns or anything like that. There's like one little settlement, which is where Isla's from.
Yeah, that's like a little village or whatever.
So Daniel, where's this gonna go?
I was gonna maybe say Epoch.
I was thinking Epoch, but would you put it above or below?
Oh, I don't know. because visually it's more unique than
Yeah.
600 AD, but is there as much to do?
I don't think there's as much to do with 600 AD.
Oh,
There could be though, because there's like excluding the bonus rep type thing, because that's in 600 AD as well.
yeah.
And I don't want to talk about that.
Andrew bid for all of that.
Yes.
This is tough.
I would.
Do you put it ahead?
Yeah.
I'm tempted to.
I think it goes ahead, but just because it's a bit more unique looking, and there's like that era, like 600 AD, is sort of like an era we kind of see a lot in games where it's like obviously fantasy setting and stuff.
It's your fantasy medieval setting, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this and like you don't really see a lot of RPGs go back into 65 million.
Historic, no, with dinosaurs and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really unique. Yeah, let's put it ahead. I'm happy putting it to top.
Yes.
I'm happy with that, Andrew.
Yes.
Yes. And then we go to probably, well, one of the most unique periods. It's Antiquity.
Antiquity, and they're called Antiquity because it's before history.
Yeah. What year is this again? Is it like?
Don't think it. Oh yeah, it does. It's like 10,000 BC or something.
It's like, yeah, I was going to say like 10,000 or something, isn't it? So, talk us through this time period, Andrew.
Oh, basically.
Or explain what the time period is, basically.
Well, basically, the time period is it's obviously, like I said, before history. It's like the Ice Age sort of era, but
yeah,
it's split into it's split into two classes: the lower class and then the upper elite. And the upper elite all have magic, and that is because they're taking a straw to Lavos.
Yeah, they've got like a really long curly straw.
But it's really interesting because like everything and below, it's like people are living in caves. They're all in sort of like disheveled places. But then there's like a random teleporter, and it takes you up. And there's more technology there than there is in 600 AD.
Yes. They basically advanced before their time because of Lavos.
Because of Lavos. So, and then you go up, and there's just like all these like continents up in the sky, and this palace, and all these places where people with like researching magic, or they've got tomes and stuff, and just it's. I love Antiquity because it's just such a stark contrast to everything else in the game.
Yeah, it really is. Like they've obviously somehow made the land masses flow, and then they built it like upon that their society and stuff. And because
they've just like advanced before they were supposed to with using Lavos, even like in comparison to 2300 AD, like that fits the time period. This doesn't. It just really doesn't fit it because it's all technological, but it's all magical at the same time.
Yeah, that's like it's not like mechanical technology; it's like magic technology.
And they use the Mammon machine to drain Lavos.
I always wonder with that because it's got like a sword in it.
Yeah,
that machine. I always wondered what it was.
This is my favorite time period in the game.
It's my favorite. I'd probably say it's most people's favorite, just because it's really iconic of the game. It's sort of where it draws sort of like the past and the future together.
Yeah, it's got beautiful music.
This is the point where like it reveals like why like Lavos has had such an effect on everything.
Yeah, and then this is like
meddling with it and stuff.
Yeah, they meddled with it, and then because it turns out because like there's like a big hint towards it at one point in the game that's saying, oh well, someone's really messing with time, and they want us to save it.
Yeah,
but you don't know who, and it turns out it's like Scarlet. It like she's like reaching out to you, and she's causing all these warp points around history. Yeah, so that you can fix it and save the future. Because she's
actually confirmed to be Scarlet because
I thought it was confirmed.
There was also like a theory of like where the portals came from, like in general, and it's like this being. I don't know. Do you ever?
I thought it was Scarlet. I thought it confirmed it was Scarlet.
It makes sense if it was Scarlet
because it said something. I think it said something about it in game somewhere.
Yeah.
But then I think it was confirmed in Chrono Cross that it was Scarlet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think. I don't know. I could be like talking out my bum cheeks.
Because I remember reading some ages ago, and it was like the theory of like who is the one creating all the portals, and he was like apparently never confirmed. But Scarlet would make more sense.
Yeah.
Because it ties in story wise.
Yeah. Because she's like attached to Lavos, and she's like trying to break free of him.
She's been the Duracell battery in Lavos.
Yeah, because she was like the most powerful magic. I don't know if she was the most powerful magic user, but she was the one used to use the Mammon machine.
Yeah. Yeah, because Queen Zeal's really cool like that.
Yeah, because she's just all evil. Like, something happened and she, like, warped because Lavos' power. She just was obsessed with power.
Yeah, I think it just, like, warped her. She's like, oh.
And then she wanted to, and then she built the Blackbird. They were the ones who built the Epoch as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the Blackbird's, like, a bigger version, isn't it?
Yeah. And then the Black Omen. Oh, no, who was it who built the Epoch? It was one of the...
Was it Belphazar or someone?
It was the one at the end of in 2300 AD.
Yeah.
Because all the that was the big twist as well. It was like there was random people throughout history who come from this point, and Lavos forced them into different time periods.
Yeah, the three sages were.
Yeah, and Magus, and then Magus was like, "Oh, well, I'm trying to get back to Scala basically to stop it from happening, so I can save her."
Yeah, he was like the fourth mystery sage, and no one knew who he was.
Yeah.
This time period.
And he was there as a little boy as well, Janos.
Yeah. Honest.
And it was just like, all these things just sort of came together, and you're like, shit, this is why it happened, and this is like why there's all these portals everywhere, because like Lavos got woken up at this point, he got woken up early.
Yeah.
But I always wondered if it was like, did he get woken up early because we interfered, or did he always get woken up?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, are we actually causing it to happen?
Yeah.
By playing in the game. So we're sort of both like stopping it and causing it at the same time. It's interesting. That's what happens when you time travel, kids.
Yes. It's like when this first happened, thousands of years ago, before all the time portals appeared, it's like, did Lavos wake up and destroy everything? Or was it because Chrono went back and he was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like knock you senseless.
I'm gonna knock you.
It's really interesting because it really trips you out, because it's a lot of like time traveling. It's like, are you affecting the future, or was the future always like this?
Yeah.
So
well, I guess the narrative it gives you is like, oh, this is always going to happen, so you have to stop it from happening. But it's like, the more you read into it, the more it bends your brain.
Yeah. Because it's just a really interesting idea that, because obviously like once something must happen at this point, because then no one can use magic and it's forgotten about.
Yeah. It's like Lavos sort of, because the awakened Lavos is like he almost sort of like withdraws it.
Yeah.
Or like hides it or something. So then, because like Zeal obviously ends up falling.
Yeah, Zeal gets destroyed because you wake up Lavos and he shoots lasers from the ground. And he causes like tidal waves and stuff. So like, and then basically the upper class are gone.
Yeah.
And
so
it's like, everyone has to sort of live together in harmony because they have no other choice. Yeah. They got the cave people who were like people who couldn't use magic, I think. That was the idea behind that.
Uh-huh.
And then
so then are some descendants from... I know, because the magic goes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say, would there be some descendants who could use magic, but not if Lavos went.
I think the magic is still there, but it's just dormant, because that's why like Chrono can use it, and all the others. That's why Isla can't. Isla's like the only... apart from Robo. Yeah. Robo and Isla are the only characters who can't use it, because obviously Robo's not human. And Isla was from before.
Sort of abilities.
He has abilities that have the elements on them.
Mm-hmm. His is more like technology.
Yeah.
So, Andrew. Actually, I was about to say, like... yeah, Lumiere. But before that, I was going to say, like, apart from Zeal, is there anyone else to explore? There's a few caves, isn't there?
Yeah, there's that I've forgotten what it's called, where Melchior's imprisoned.
Yeah.
It's like that floating mountain.
Yeah, it is floating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's floating and it's attached to a chain, and you have to go up the chain.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've forgotten what it's called, though.
Melchior Mountain.
Death Mountain 2.
Electric Boogaloo. So yeah, I reckon top of Luminaire.
Yes.
Luminaire. Luminu.
Luminaire. Let me see.
Why is that behind that one?
Yeah, why is that?
Oh, that's why.
Oh.
Because it's under it.
Aha.
Oh.
Oops.
Go down one.
that one and that one. Shift it across. I mean, it doesn't really matter on my end too much. So it's just as long as they're in order.
It's just for your own reference.
Yeah.
Right. Now this one probably won't go very high.
No.
It's nearly the year 2000, Andrew. The Millennium Bug is scaring citizens across the world. And also, a real bug comes out of the ground and destroys everything. It fully does.
Comes out and he's just like, he just basically just comes out and he just sneezes and then all his spikes.
So,
like,
excuse me, I've got allergies. Oh, chill.
So basically, this point is you don't get to explore it, and I wish you did.
Do not. It'd be cool if you could.
Yeah, and you go into the domes and just see what it was like and stuff. But it's basically you go there and Lavos is there, and he comes out of the ground and destroys everything, and then you have to fight Lavos.
Yeah, so basically this time period, you only go there to fight Lavos.
Yeah, you don't get to explore it.
So we can only really talk about it like in terms of at this point, like how it develops. So we mentioned it briefly. Like everyone lives in domes.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the future one, but not destroyed.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone lives in their own little domes. The world, there's roads.
Yeah, there's roads. There's
visible roads.
I'm assuming that dome at the top is supposed to be like the Guardia Dome.
Yeah, it's roughly in the same position, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not really much to talk about. It just gets destroyed. It's rubbish.
Lavos, like, they weren't expecting it. They got blown up.
Yeah, it's funny because it shows like them in the like control room or something. Like,
yeah.
Oh, energy readings are off the chart.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah, it's really depressing. It's really great. Yeah, because he comes out right like amongst everything.
Yeah, he does. He just comes out like right in the middle of everything.
So cool.
And then it shows it from space as well, and all these things that he like shoots them up in the sky, and then they all come back down.
Yeah.
Over the planet.
Isn't the place he comes out of? Isn't that what becomes Death Mountain in the future?
Yes.
Where he comes out of, because it sort of like forms, doesn't it?
Yeah, it forms around him, and he's just like, because he's still under it. He's not like on top of it or anything.
Yeah. He just comes out, destroys everything, and then sort of like once it's all done.
Yeah.
He goes to sleep again, I guess.
I think so, because then all his babies are around.
He just turns into a mountain, and you have to climb
yeah.
in the future.
Oh, it's about pain in the ass, that mountain as well, because it's like you go to the first area and there's just like, you have to go up and you have to hide behind the trees because there's like a big gust and it's a pain in the ass.
There's a big gust.
And if you move and you get stuck or whatever, you get blown off the mountain and you're like, for fuck's sake! I was. Where would you put it, Daniel? Because there's not a lot we can talk about.
I don't know if to put it in New Way just because it's like you can't explore it.
Yeah.
It looks like present day but with domes.
Yeah.
The only good thing about it is that's where you go fight Lavos and the Lavos battle's amazing.
Yeah, I'd say
that's not really the era itself, that's just the battle.
That's just the battle, and then you actually go inside Lavos and you're technically out of time.
Yeah. So would you I'd maybe save it from New Way and put it in the future.
Yeah.
Refuse to change.
I think just because of the lack of things to do there, it's
literally
it's just a boss fight.
Not really that different, and it's just a boss fight.
Yeah. As big as it is to
it's not like a terrible thing. It's just nothing there.
Yeah, it's integral to the story, so it can't really. If it was just like a time period you went there and there's literally nothing, then yeah, I would say New Way. But it's integral to the story.
It saves itself, and ironically, another one it goes in the future refused to change.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for it. There we go. Plop that in there. Boop.
And last but not least.
Oh, we've got the end of time.
The end of time. Now this is like, you end up here because it was like, when 4 or more beings from across history end up in the same place at the same time. You end up here.
Yeah.
But then this is just basically a hub. There's nothing, like you can talk to Gaspar? Is it Gaspar?
Yeah, Gaspar.
And he's one of the sages from Antiquity, which you find out, which is really interesting. And he just ends up at the end of time.
Gasp and Grandpa.
I like the little street light.
Yeah, the thing is, visually, this would be quite hard for me because it's sort of like it's the little courtyard thing in the center.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's nothing else.
They're literally just there to get to other places.
It is like we were saying before. Like present day is sort of like a starting point for launch to other time periods, but this is the place where you gather.
Yeah.
Is as the hub to then travel to other places later on once you discover it. So.
And you can come here and you can learn magic.
You can fight Specchio, is it?
Oh, so yeah, Specchio.
Specchio, who changes his form and you train up against him.
Yeah.
And then you can access other time periods and you can...
Get on the epoch.
Yeah, that's it.
To access other time periods.
Yeah, that's it. It's pretty much just a gateway, really.
Gaspar will give you hints on stuff of what to do.
He will, yeah.
And you talk to him and he's got a nice hat on.
Yeah, he's got a nice hat. He's got a nice bowler hat and overcoat. We're just talking about how he's dressed now because there's nothing else to say.
Yeah. Where would you put it, Daniel?
Visually it's up there, but there's nothing to do, so...
Probably millennial.
Ooh. I was going to say millennial fair just to sort of balance out how I like how it looks.
Yeah.
Probably before... Would you say before or after present day, then?
I'd say after, because it's just all appearance. And you get to talk to your characters and stuff, but like you could actually do stuff in 1000 AD.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a tier list based on the era and like everything that entails, and like it's not really an era, it's just the end of time when there's nothing to do. So.
Yeah. There's just nothing there. And you just access Lavos, you access Specchio, you can go to all the time periods, you can talk to your characters, and switch your party around.
So basically, if this doesn't look as cool as it did, this would be a new way, probably.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to explore. So yeah, bottom of Millennial Fair then.
Yes!
I think that is Millennial Fair, Andrew.
I think it's Millennial Fair, Daniel.
Oh, are you happy with all these orders, Andrew?
I am, Daniel.
Let's roll through again from top to bottom.
In Lumiere tier, we have...
Antiquity.
And 2300 AD.
Yes, the future. And then on Epoch...
65 million BC.
Yeah, and then we've got 600 AD.
Yes. Millennial Fair.
We've got the present day, 1000 AD.
And the end of time.
The end of time. And then, finally, in the future refuse to change, we've got...
1999.
1999.
The day of Lavos.
1999.
I know, yeah. The day of Lavos.
The day of Lavos.
And then anyway, we've got nothing, because even 1999, it's quite nice.
Yeah. It's hard to put anything in the worst tier for this game, just because it's such a good game. Even the things that you can't do anything in, it's like, still iconic in its way.
Yeah.
Alright, Jesus. So that's our list for Chrono Trigger time periods.
Yes.
Any fleeting thoughts before we go, Andrew?
Don't forget to check out my Chrono Trigger Let's Play.
Oh, yes. Please do go check out Andrew's Chrono Trigger Let's Play. It was very, very good. He was very thorough. He did all the side quests and stuff.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't do was all the endings, because I couldn't be bothered.
That's true. He didn't do all the endings, but you can find them on YouTube, so don't be lazy.
Yes.
Because they require multiple playthroughs.
Yeah.
But yeah, go check it out. It's very comprehensive Let's Play and very entertaining.
Yes, and don't forget to go to Daniel's website, danielscience.com.
Please do. Also, see them comments down there. See him. Look down. There you are.
Let us know.
Where were you? There's only 7 entries. You can list your own order where you would put your time periods. Please let us know. We're interested.
Yeah. Whether it's based on the story, whether it's appearance, or stuff you can do in it.
Just a general vibe. Yeah, the things you can do and stuff like that.
The atmosphere.
Yeah.
Let us know. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
and we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you next time.
Ta-ra.